The representation of most people in the world is limited from a small piece of the world where a person lives. Travel and viewing and educational programs somewhat expand these narrow limits, but humanity can only guess that it is far beyond the planet in the depths of space. For example, do you know what is hidden in the center of our galaxy? That there is absolute emptiness, a parallel reality or an entrance to another universe. Modern science has also asked this question. You thought that monsters are only in fairy tales and horror films, but it turned out that one of them hid, by space standards, very close to the center of the Milky Way. We are talking about a supermassive black hole containing 4/10 and 3/10 of a million solar masses, the size of a monster 44 million kilometers in diameter. His name is Sagittarius, and what else can you see in this extremely unfriendly, gloomy and creepy place? There are huge star clusters, as well as a large amount of dust and gas in the center of the Milky Way. Very restless and monstrous gravity. A black hole at the heart of which there is a powerful radio source that continues a constant stellar storm and colliding waves of perturbed matter. They heat up and dazzlingly sparkle. But back to the main character of our story, the black hole, which entails the discovery of such a powerful and dangerous object. Can the activity of a supermassive hole affect the suitability of our planet for future life? Perhaps the monster will threaten the very existence of the Earth. To begin with, let's find out how often titanic conglomerates of the heart of galaxies form, but how it appeared there. The most popular hypotheses are as follows. Suppose that a relativistic star is created from large clouds of gas, which soon gets out of balance and explodes, but the explosion does not look like physical death. A supernova, a hypernova instantly collapses after passing through the stage of ejection of significant masses of matter. It is this moment that allows the object not to lose the huge weight required to become a heavy black hole. Some scientists do not agree with this hypothesis and believe that black holes first appeared in the early days of the universe due to global perturbations caused by the Big Bang. Then the spatial funnels grew to large sizes and increased mass with the help of accretion. The matter of the center of our galaxy has long been of interest to scientists, but was not associated with any astronomical object until 1960. Astrophysicists spotted a strange radio source in the constellation Sagittarius. Prior to this, a dense veil of cosmic dust prevented an epochal discovery from making an epochal veil of cosmic dust after the beginning of the era of infrared astronomy, for which the dust nebula is not a hindrance. Black holes at the center of the Milky Way have been discovered by observing the anomalously shifted motions of stars. But back to the question of how dangerous the hidden monster is for us. According to the observations of astrophysicists, a black hole that has settled in any galaxy at some point is a kind of time bomb, and the activity can increase several times. The constellation Sagittarius and the incomprehensible parts of the Milky Way that originated and developed with it. Scientists believe that by absorbing matter and pushing out energy, it causes the birth of new stars and supplies our galaxy with matter. It also helps new planets form. If black holes didn't exist, then the Milky Way would look like billions of shriveled dwarf galaxies staring back at it as if someone forgot to illuminate the dark depths of light. It turns out that the monster is not so terrible, moreover, even useful, because it is thanks to the black hole that the Milky Way is still developing, giving birth to millions of new stars and planets. This is one side of the coin, but there is another, given the possibility of rapid and significant activation of a huge space object, as well as many force majeure circumstances. The danger still prevails over the Milky Way in general and the Earth in particular, of course. The mass of 4.3 million solar masses is not so much for a black hole, because scientists know much larger monsters. For example, in the constellation Coma Berenices, a black hole with a mass of as much as 21 billion solar, and lurking the largest discovered black holes in the constellation Canis. Scientists believe that it was the average size of our handheld monster that made it possible to create all the prerequisites for the formation of the solar system and, ultimately, the emergence of life on Earth. If the black hole were much larger and more active, or smaller and more passive, then this would equally negatively affect the formation of stars and galactic evolution, but the average size of the object allows you to maintain a safe balance. But despite the rather modest size of the inhabitant of the central region of our Milky Way, under certain circumstances, it can bring a lot of trouble. What consequences await humanity if one day the delicate balance and the transformation of the Milky Way into a quasar are disturbed? Let's make a reservation right away. Usually young galaxies that are at the beginning of evolution become quasars, but this is just an assumption that may well be erroneous. What is a quasar? In fact, This is an overcrowded black hole that has absorbed such a large amount of stellar matter that it began to actively emit radiation and light. This brightest spot will be visible even at a distance of billions of light years. Under normal conditions, there is enough material. A dangerous transformation around a black hole is not such a lure. An accidental snack is not considered a star, but if there is an excess of food for the monster, then the galaxy will not be well. First, the life of the Milky Way will be reduced to a measly few million years. Secondly, a huge funnel, like an insatiable mouth, like a sewer, will more and more ruthlessly tighten all objects in its path until there is nothing left of the galaxy, after which the curtain of the quasar hellish collision will go out. As you know, our nearest neighbor is a large spiral galaxy with the romantic name Andromeda, and a collision with the Milky Way, which will inevitably occur in 4 billion years, is also capable of disturbing the stability of the central black hole. Naturally, the nuclei of both galaxies will get a serious shock, but this is not so bad. The horror is that in the center of Andromeda there is also a black hole much larger than ours, and it is far from the only one in terms of the number of such objects. Knocking stars astray, throwing some objects into space and simply tearing others to shreds, in the midst of all this Armageddon, black holes can become seriously activated, as in the previous scenario, turn into a deadly quasar. And in such a scenario, humanity will disappear from the face of the universe. Scientists fear that the black hole at the center of the Milky Way is far from alone and has relatives in the vastness of our galaxy. There may be several of them, and this is not encouraging at all. For example, last year, scientists from Keio University in Yokohama obtained irrefutable evidence of the discovery of another black hole at a distance of 200 light-years from the center of the Milky Way using a telescope installed in the Atacama Desert. Astrophysicists have found that the object measures 1.4 of a trillion kilometers across, which means that the new find is much larger than Sagittarius, and the computer model says that so far it is the largest object found in our galaxy. It is not known how two such monsters will get along in such a dangerous proximity and what consequences await humanity in the event of their symbiosis. In a word, the black hole is still sleeping, but no one knows what will serve as the fuse for the universal explosion, but we know that this scenario will not happen soon. So we and the next descendants of this nightmare, most likely will not see. A dangerous neighbor that can kill us from a distance is a black hole, and its main weapon is a gamma strike. These rays appear when a massive funnel is triggered, move imperceptibly at light speeds and destroy everything in its path, including human DNA bonds. If such a surge, emanating from the center of our galaxy, occurs and is directed towards the Earth, then for people this means instant death. But given the low likelihood of such a threat, how irresponsibly we treat our planet, people should be more careful not to fry themselves. Thanks for watching us. Subscribe to American YouTube channel. Bet, like, we will have a lot of interesting things. Bye.